Hi, I'm Dr. Charisse, and I want to thank you again for joining me today on Recipes for Success. Last time we came together, I kind of talked to you a little bit about a recipe for success that I thought was really important, and hopefully it really blessed you. Last time we came together, we talked from Psalm 25, verses 1 through 3. I want to read them to you again because we're going to kind of pick up where we left off last time. Psalm 25, verses 1 through 3, it says, "To you, O Lord, I lift up my soul. O my God, in you I trust. Do not let me be ashamed. Do not let my enemies exult over me. Indeed, none of those who wait for you will be ashamed. Those who deal treacherously and without cause will be ashamed." One of the things that I really loved about this scripture is it talked about how, you know what, if you trust in God, if you put your trust in God, you will not be ashamed. There's no reason to feel like, oh my God, I don't know if God's going to do it. I'm not certain if he loves me that much. I don't know if he cares about me that much. He says, look, if you just put your trust in him, you have no reason to be ashamed. That means when people come and they try to taunt you or tease you or to make you feel bad about not receiving something that maybe you've been confessing with your mouth, or not receiving the promises of God that maybe they've already received yet, and you're in faith and you're waiting and believing God. The Bible says if you wait on him, you won't be ashamed. So though they may say some things about you, they may even talk about you, they may even talk to their friends or other people about you, God said there's no reason for you to feel ashamed, because he not only has got your back, he's heard the prayers that you've prayed. He knows the seed that you've sown. He knows that you've sown in tears. He knows that you're reaping in faith. He knows that you put everything that you can put into trusting him. And so he says, you know what? I don't want you to worry about anything. You're not going to be ashamed. And so I want to look at another scripture that kind of goes in line with that, because, you know, it's summertime, and in summertime, a lot of people don't think about sickness. A lot of people don't think about disease. A lot of people don't think about the things that we need to do to get our health in order. And so I want to look at Jeremiah 30, verse 17, because it is summer, and yep, it's warmer outside. It's not cold. We don't have all the snow and all those different things that will cause cold and flu and seasonal illnesses. But I want us to look at this scripture. Jeremiah 30 and 17 says, "For I will restore health to you," or you to health, it says, "and I will heal you of your wounds, declares the Lord, because they have called you an outcast, saying, it is Zion, no one cares for her." You know, this scripture is really important to me because our recipe for success today is health restoration. You know, again, we're in summer season, and maybe there aren't any colds or there aren't any flus that are going around. But some of you just have chronic headaches, or you have migraines, or you have allergies that plague you, or you have food allergies. And so sometimes we don't think about those things being a part of our health that's been stolen by the enemy, or part of our health that needs to be restored. But I want to let you know today that you can believe God today for those small things. So believe him for things that may seem insignificant to other people, that may seem small to other people. Just because everybody else is wearing glasses doesn't mean I have to wear them. I wear them because I like them now. But you can make a decision. Hey, you know what? I don't want to have that migraine that happens every time I eat this, or I don't want to have that migraine every time I smell that. You can begin to believe God for the small things, the things that would seem insignificant, because God truly cares for every part of you, including your health. And so I want to leave you with that information. I want to leave you with that to meditate on for this week. And I want you to join me back in the kitchen for our second recipe for success. Well, welcome back. We're in the kitchen, and we're going to start today's recipe with lemon squares. I want you to I think the recipe is going to be on the screen for you, so you can either watch it now, or you can go on dwo.org and you can download the recipe and watch me make it all over again. But the first thing we're going to do is you're going to start out with some room temperature ingredients. You want to make sure that your eggs are room temperature, and same thing for your lemon juice, okay? Well, we'll start out with 2 cups of flour, and we're going to pretty much make the base, or make the crust of the lemon squares first. So let's go ahead and do the flour. And you can use organic flour, you can use non-organic flour, whatever kind of flour you normally like to use. I think I'm going to take this off and just put it in. Okay. We're going to add the confection of sugar, because the crust is kind of like a shortbread crust. So we're going to add the confection of sugar into that. And then we're going to add a cup of butter. Uh-oh, I think that butter has melted and staying in the dish. All right, we're going to take this butter that we softened, melted and softened, and we're going to go ahead and put it all in here. Again, we're making like a shortbread crust for the lemon squares. Lemon squares are so good. They're so great for summertime. They're very light. not a heavy dessert. All right, it's great to take to picnics and different events like that. I'm going to go ahead and snap our bowl in. Okay, put our blade on, and I'm going to go ahead and mix this up. Okay, the consistency should be that of like a dough. So you want to make sure that you blend it all together so that it's like a dough. Once it gets blended, and you don't have to blend it a whole lot, it should be just like a little bit of a dough, kind of like a cookie dough. Okay. Alrighty. Once you get that in, you're going to dump it right into your 9 by 13 greased pan. Okay. You don't have to use glass. You can use metal or whatever you need. We're just going to press it in there until the bottom is actually all the way filled with this shortbread cookie dough. You want to press it in there as firmly as possible. Okay, trying to keep it even all the way around. Turn it around. And we're going to cook this in the oven that's been preheated to 350 degrees for about 15 minutes, okay? We don't need to poke any holes in it or anything like that. We're just going to put it right in that preheated oven for about 15 minutes until it's just lightly golden brown, okay? And while we're doing that, we're going to beat the other ingredients because we'll need to put it on top in just a moment. Well, while our shortbread dough or base is being baked right now for our lemon squares, we're going to go ahead and start on our second recipe, which is our almond butter cookies. Not almond butter cookies, but almond butter cookies. Okay, so what we're going to do is, those of you who may have peanut allergies or things like that, you may be able to benefit from using almond butter in a traditional peanut butter cookie recipe. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and put in 1 cup of unsalted butter. 1 cup of, we use this organic creamy almond butter. Just put it right in there. And this is raw almond butter. There's so many different kinds you can get out there, but this is a raw almond butter. You can use crunchy. I decided to use smooth and creamy. Okay, I love the smell of almond butter. I don't know if you've ever had it, but substituted for peanut butter and jelly sandwich, do almond butter. It's so good. All right, then we're going to go ahead and add a cup of white sugar. We're going to add, oh, that didn't all come in there. Let's see. I'm going to add a whole cup of that. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead and add 2 eggs. All right. We're going to add a cup of packed brown sugar to the mix. Okay. And then I think we're going to go ahead and mix this all together. So we're going to blend that up. Again, I'm just going to repeat that. We've got a cup of unsalted butter. We've got a cup of white sugar, a cup of brown sugar, and we have 2 eggs. We're going to mix all that up so it's very well blended. Okay, I believe that's blended well enough. We're going to go ahead and add to that 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Now we're going to add 1½ teaspoons of baking soda. We're going to add a little bit of salt because we used unsalted butter. And that salt would be, I believe, about ½ teaspoon. And we're going to go ahead and do 2½ cups of flour. So we'll add some of it in now and we'll mix it down and then add the other portion to it. In general, I don't know, something about the smell of peanut butter I can't take, but I can take the smell of almond butter. I don't know what it is. But as I said earlier, this is great if you have any kind of allergies or peanut allergies. Hopefully you don't have any almond allergies or anything like that. You want to get it good and mixed in. When it starts to mix pretty well, you can go ahead and add the rest. Okay. And then I also like to add vanilla in my cookies, so go ahead and add some vanilla to this recipe as well. It just gives it a nice, bright, really fresh flavor. All right. Once that's done, we're going to go ahead and scrape it all down, put it to the center, put it in the refrigerator and let it chill before we make our little balls. So go ahead and preheat your oven up to about 375 and I'll see you right back. So we've got our dough mixed up. We've had it sitting in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. Now we're going to make balls. You can make 1-inch balls or you can make larger cookies. I'm going to make them a little bit larger. So you're just going to get them, roll them up. Okay, these are pretty big. This is like the size of a $50, I think. Put them there. Roll them up really well. And I'm going to go ahead and roll all of these up. And our shortbread base or crust is almost ready for us to make the lemon filling for our lemon squares. I'm going to roll these up and then I'll be back with that crust out of the oven and we'll make the filling for our lemon squares in just a moment. Well, our almond butter cookies are in the oven. They need to be in there for about 10 minutes on 375 degrees. While those are cooking, we've taken our base, our shortbread base out, and we're going to go ahead and make our topping or our filling for our lemon bars, okay? Lemon squares, lemon bars. So the first thing we're going to do is, I guess we'll go ahead and we'll mix in sugar. And we'll mix in with that sugar the flour, because we don't want any lumps. Go ahead and put the flour. And we'll go ahead and put the baking powder. That was 2 cups of sugar, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/4 cup of flour. Let's just mix it up. You can mix it with a mixer, or you can just use a wire whisk to mix it all up, or a wooden spoon, whichever you like. We just want to make sure there are no lumps, and you mix it all well. All right, that's all mixed in. Now we're going to go ahead and add our 4 eggs. They've been sitting at room temperature. Okay, we're going to mix this all together. Once we get it all mixed in, we're going to go ahead at that point and add the lemon juice. Now there are many kinds of ways that you can make the lemon bars. I've made them so that the lemon filling actually soaks into the crust. I've made them so that the lemon filling sits on top of the crust. Actually, they're all really, really good. But this one I like a lot because it uses a lot of fresh lemon juice. This is 5/8 of a cup of lemon juice. I believe we've got all of the eggs incorporated into the baking powder, flour, and sugar. So now we're going to go ahead and add the lemon juice. We don't want it to cook those eggs, so we're just going to mix it really, really well. And actually, once we get this totally mixed in, we're going to add it right on top of this hot crust and put it back into the oven, 350 degrees, for about 30 minutes. Well, we've got an awesome time getting the Word of God recipes for success on the couch, and then we had a wonderful time getting our recipes in the kitchen. Today we made an expansive meal, a summer meal, and it includes things like our almond butter cookies. We had mango aqua fresca, we had horchata, and we had watermelon lemonade. And our skewers of various types, we had shrimp, we had steak, we had chicken. These chicken ones we took right off the stick, and we just kind of put them there because you can put them on a nice salad and make a salad out of them with the roasted vegetables and the meat. Then we did a wonderful Dr. C's summer salad with all types of vegetables, and we put some feta cheese and hearts of palm and balsamic vinaigrette dressing. Then we also made a wonderful citrus salad. I call it the blue citrus salad because it's got all kinds of citrus fruits, but along with that it has blueberries. And then finally we have our lemon squares that are all wonderful, easy dishes for the summer. Now all of them are not made on this episode. We split it up into 2 episodes. So you want to make sure that you watch both of them to get the whole entire meal. And as always, you can watch us and visit us on DWO.org to get these recipes, and you can watch them and how they're made all over again. And as always, from DWO, we always wish you blessings of peace, power, purpose, and prosperity.